Bow to your sensei. What is up, my AKAPADers? We're doing it! 2 videos today. Welcome to Saturday. It's gloomy, maybe rainy. It's supposed to rain. Supposed to do birthday celebrations with a friend of mine. Had cancellations. We pivoted. Now we're just doing adult stuff instead of the debauchery and the drugs and the hotel rooms and, well, the things we should rather be doing on a Saturday night. I still have to work out today, but we're doing this. This got me thinking about another type of subject to frame around Howard Chaykin's masterpiece, BLACKHAWK, 3 prestige issue format, 3 issues, prestige format. Prestige format, if you're not familiar, let me just show it real quick. We're going to be hitting the drawing table very soon to get in. But see, prestige format. See, it has a spine. Also has pages. But, you know, like better pages, better everything. We're going to hit the drawing table. I wanted to flip, do like a quick flip through. But while we're talking about this, now, we've been on like a really good, powerful, like the gazoots, really good deep thread now with DC Comics 1986, 1987. This is what I consider the 2 greatest years of any publisher at any time. Now, the reason why it's 86 to 87, because a lot of the series started in 86 and cascaded into 87. So, you know, like that's a little bit accurate, and to be fair, really is the greatest year in comic book history. And a lot of you might be saying, but, oh my god, LOL, Marvel's coming with the Image guys. Marvel's coming with Spider-Man, X-Force, X-Men #1. They're coming for blood. And guess what? Absolutely true. But how that came about, and that's really what I was thinking about earlier today. How did DC Comics go from a level of publishing artistry, absolute editorial perfection? How did they go from that to 0 Hour, Death of Superman, Hal Jordan, gimmick, destroying their iconic characters, even everything that happened with Wonder Woman, never really getting it back, and then going through what you would consider like a reboot cycle that dwindled the attitude of the publishing. I mean, completely decimated the culture of the publishing and destroyed the continuity, which is so important. We say this a lot because continuity will drive people regularly into comic shops and reward their time investment. How does this happen? Well, here's the thing. The rise of the Image guys, even while they were in Marvel, came from sports cards. It came from a split. Comic shops at one time, and no one talks about this, which is beyond me. Comic shops at one time were split. One half comics and the other half sports cards. My first comic shop was like this. All throughout Jersey, almost every single comic shop did the 2. They did sports cards and they did comic books, and you might get some collectibles, and back then collectibles were like precious moments and coins. Like, things have, a lot of stuff has changed. Now it's just Funko Pops. And what happened was, these books don't appeal to the kids coming in for the sports cards. But what happened was that Marvel comic books eventually broke through. The imagery, the covers, the conversational nature of Liefeld, Jim Lee, Eric Larson, Mark Silvestri, Walter Portacio. You guys know Jim Lee. Like, you could show those books to someone and they literally would fire the imagination. And that started to move the needle to Marvel, to where the casual trading card kids were getting into comics with the trading card investment mindset. Because back then, you had Tough Magazine, you had Beckett. There were multiple trading card value guys that you bought religiously monthly. The comic market really wasn't quite there when it came to a monthly magazine, not until Wizard. So you can kind of see what the culture of what was happening inside of comic shops, and at that time, it was kids, it was schools, middle school. My middle school had a baseball card club, had nothing, no comic book comic book club. Not until like the 2000s, even around Jersey and Philadelphia, you saw schools getting comic book clubs. Not until it was like 10 years later. But the point I'm getting at though is DC was so good at appealing to mature adult readers, not collectors, that they built this vacuum. They built this almost like pothole that was available for younger teenage readers, mostly teenage boys, that Marvel was able to fill. And that in there, like at that point, the industry went in two lanes. DC, people forget about Paradox Press. No one really talks about Vertigo anymore outside of the Neil Gaiman work. But DC had two arms for the DC universe. They had a mature line, and then they had DC proper, and the both were pretty much in the same time frame. Okay, I mean, excluding Dark Knight Returns, I kind of forget if Hawk World fell into continuity, but you could kind of put them together, and eventually, what if stories like Son of the Demon for Batman or Killing Joke, which were all original Prestige format one-offs, essentially, they got rolled into continuity, so you were even rewarded for that. DC had the minds, and Marvel had the eyeballs, and the eyeballs were speculators that overflowed from baseball card collecting, thinking that they had the next hot thing, because even then, you were priced out of a lot of major cards, mostly rookies from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You were priced out of those as a collector. And then as a collector for baseball cards, 70s, 80s, 90s. You only had 3 decades that you could afford into. The money and the interest had to go someplace else, and it went to comics. Let's have a quick look at BLACKHAWK though, because I consider this on par with Dark Knight Returns, and this is not a flip through analysis. I'm just going to show it off. My AKA padders, if you're not nunchucking while you're drawing, you gotta do it. Helps with the forearm muscles. So, quick correction. 1987, we're going from 1987 to 1988. The timing and the monthly drops I'm not 100% on. I don't know if there was like a month or 2 month gap between some of these. Some of these prestige formats fall in line with that. But let's just get into it. If you're not familiar with Howard Chaykin, you can tell by this cover. He's not only a master illustrator at this time. Now later, he becomes a little bit of a social media loon. He becomes very dependent on Photoshop. He becomes very dependent on badly used patterns in his drawings. Photoshop and Howard Chaykin didn't mix very well. Pre-Photoshop, you have 2 masterpieces. We have BLACKHAWK, then we have another book called American Flag. I'm working with someone right now to get every issue of American Flag here to present to you. I'm hoping that happens. Book 1, Blood and Iron. Book 2, Red Snow. And Book 3, Blackout. When we open these, we can see the design. Even here. Now, look, given this may not be Howard Chaykin, but the crookedness or the Baroque, this is that, the Baroqueness of even the indicia, it fits. It fits so well with kind of pulp. It fits so well with things that we know through the Rocketeer, Art Deco. We see a lot of the DC 80s tropes here. News broadcasts, news reporters. We're getting a narration. We're getting set up for the time and setting. We're really big on animatics. Animatics, again, Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen. But yeah, I mean, look, and then this is the lettering. Howard Chaykin is the best letterer ever in comics. He incorporates letters like a way, and look, we see the Dark Knight Returns inspiration, the references. This is very indicative of the flashback assassination of Wayne's parents, the pearls, the gun shells. These are the ideas that work opened up. And guys like Chaykin, like, you can kind of just imagine when they saw that, they realized what they could do. They realized what the possibilities were. The reason why I put this above Dark Knight Returns, because it has an equal level of rated R-ness. It has an equal level of adulthood. Look at this illustration here. The airplane opening up for the Cadillac. But it fits all the notes of R-rated entertainment. But he's doing it with a character. He's doing it with BLACKHAWK, who, it was nothing before and after this. Now, BLACKHAWK had, I think the best run BLACKHAWK had presented to us since this point was the DC animated series, the Justice League Unlimited. I believe they had BLACKHAWKs in that were, or the BLACKHAWKs from Darwin Cooks's, his, what was that? Justice League, not Infinite. The Chaykin Justice League story. But look at this. See what? Oh man, like he, and so a little bit of the Howard Chaykin like trope is he's really good with lace. And later, like, so when I say Photoshop wasn't kind to Howard Chaykin's artistry, he would later just like put these flat patterns over where like all the lace is, or where like lingerie is. And geez, it never quite worked. It never quite was there. It just came off as lazy. But this is him in his prime. This is him, again, rocking and rolling and making a nothing idea, a character by Garn that has zero interest when it comes to the modern day audience. And he just brings it. And look, see, there's so many things we realize here. We realize we're at night. We realize we're talking with German soldiers. We turn the page, daytime. We talk about this. We look like different interiors. We're rooftop, nighttime, right? Like blue gray, bang. Interior ballroom. Great negative space there. But his faces, his expressions, the way he's tagging the characters along the way, it's just, it's hard to compare. Now, we have a little bit of a cheap panel here. This is like a poorly retraced stat photograph here. Like, and now, see this here? The Eiffel Tower, the lamppost, and the brush. This is a little bit of the future of Howard Chaykin. This is where he starts to decline, and shots like this become less and less important to him. Look at the clocks. Wow. It's just, look, the cat. Yeah, look, people always act like animals are easy to draw. Animals are not. We got some nice, but again, here are nicely traced stat photographs here. Again, like photo references. He's getting away with it. Now, we compare the photo. See, this is great. See how he blends everything into the horizon. If you're going to trace photographs, do what he did here. This is really, even if he used photographic reference for this, the way how he shaded, you know, like basically the shadows coming down at the base level lights. Really cool stuff. But I want to show you, like, it's okay to use photo references. He gets a little bit too reliant on them in this third issue, because when we go to issue 1, let's just start like early. Like, we see the buildings rendered in issue 1 are far different. Like, even here, like, he's, you know, maybe using photographic reference, but he's making decisions that make this drawing his. See, like some of these, like, they're not as mechanical as issue 3. Like, even this, like, I don't know, I just, like, it's tough, but he illustrates a freaking clear, literal idea with these 3 prestige format issues. I would go to this at this point, and it's been a while since these were with me at the drawing table. I will go to these more than I will Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns for a good stretch. So a couple of channel updates. Average viewing time is now averaging between 3 minutes and 30 to 4 minutes plus. We're getting a couple new subscribers a week. I am rolling ads for some videos to boost interest. These are videos that already have interest. Like my goal is to roll in more funds on all the social media platforms for advertising. The reason for this is I believe that's a part of the game. When I roll more money into advertising, my search rates go up. So there is a little bit of a correlation there. But no, we're just trying to figure things out. And if you're new to this channel, if you like comic books, if you like drawing, if you like analysis of the comic book industry, the history of it all, and great insight into drawing, because that's really what I do, pop into my live streams. We can hang out. I'm always friendly. I always answer questions. I try and get detail into my thought process. So people, we're growing. Thank you for supporting everything. It's a trial by fire, but we are getting the type of traction I've been pecking at for a couple years now, and I have all of you to thank for it. So people, rock and roll all day, all night. I'll be doing adult things. Gotta go hit the gym. Adult things this evening, which means boring SHIT. Gotta hit the gym. Rock and roll.